Now it's a turn for Phalaenopsis. Phalaenopsis are called the moth orchids for a couple of reasons. One is it's a type of moth and sometimes pollinates certain Phalaenopsis. Also, Phalaenopsis tend to last a long the flower, so give it like a little burst a month, so you can put a name and sell like as a moth orchids as well. Now, Phalaenopsis are the most common orchids you're gonna come across. The reason is because they are very mass produced in the market, so you get to see them a lot. They comes in different shapes, colors. Sadly, not all of them are fragrant, but some they have very nice fragrance. Now, Phalaenopsis always recommend to start for beginners. The reason that is because they're plants that are not that expensive, you know, and you can start. And if it dies, it doesn't gonna break your bank or your wallet. So that's a good plant to start. So let's start how to repot these great orchids. Here is a Phalaenopsis that we have a Vizcaya. It's a hybrid. Remember, hybrid is a plant that is crossed between two species or two hybrid or hybrid species. So it's not the original one come from the jungle. This one is sadly to say the flowers on the way out. So now I will show you how to repot the plant, how to take care of the plant. Now, this is a typical Phalaenopsis that comes in a container. You know, as you can see, it's in a plastic container. It is supposed to come out. So, very gentle. If you want, when it's finished blooming, what do? You cut the spike as close as you want to the plant. You know, right here. But now remember, it's extremely important that you guys sterilize the tools. So always, I like to burn it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just count to 5. That'll be good enough to sterilize the tools. You can dip it on 10% Clorox, or you can dip in alcohol, whichever works for you. You know, so always sterilize your tools before you work in a new plant. Remember, new plant, everything has to be clean. So what do? You just cut it as close as you can to the plant, and then you remove the flowers. These flowers on the way out, so they won't last that long. So now we put this on the side. You can put that on arrangement if you want to. It's just a little bit of water, a couple drop of soda, clear soda, of course. You know, on a clear water, the flower will last you a little longer if you are cut. Now, as you can see, this plant is ready to come out of this pot. You know, so what we do, just pull it out of the pot. If the pot is stuck, you know, sometimes it's gonna happen. You can pull it or you can cut it. So don't feel bad. Just get your scissors, cut it. Be careful not to cut yourself or harm yourself. But don't worry about the plant. The plant will survive. As you can see, the root system was coming out of the pot, and it's very tight. You know, even though they like to be tight, they don't like it that much. Here, remember the tool I used before, the tweezers? This is a great tool to use. So what do? Also, and remember, you want to find a place where you can make a mess. So what you just get it, and you start pulling all the materials in there. You know, don't feel bad. You want to lose some roots in the process. Don't feel bad. The plant is not going to die. But what you want to do is just pull as much as possible, because you want to clean the plant. You want to make sure that all material is out. So just kind of brush it. That's the nicest way you can say it. Once it gets loose, it's gonna come out easily. You put like this, and it's pretty much clean. You're gonna lose some root system, so don't feel bad. It does happen. Actually, it's gonna be beneficial for the plant. There you are. Now, this is a plant that is ready to be repotted. Any root system that is damaged or is not good. For example, this root system got damaged in the process. You have a filament right here, so it probably is not gonna survive. But you can cut it like that. This root system is getting old and it's dying, as you can see. So what you do, you just cut it. You find more dead roots and you cut a little bit, and there you are. Now, some people, they like to cut the root system very short. That's up to the grower. If you like it, you can do it. If you don't worry about it, you know. But this plant, I don't like it. So I like long, healthy roots. So now, what do? The medium. We use, on Phalaenopsis, you get to use two types of medium. I recommend two types of medium. Either sphagnum moss, which is this one, or you can use orchid mix. Phalaenopsis Orchid mix, which is this one. Now, the medium is going to control the amount of water you're going to apply to the plant. You want to make sure the sphagnum moths tend to hold too much water. If you can control the water, you want to make sure that if it rains like now, the plant you don't get that much water, then definitely you're gonna be okay. If you cannot control the water, then definitely use a little more dry medium. Remember, sphagnum moths tend to hold too much water. The bark of the orchid medium, not that much, but it will help. Now, as you can see, this is a pot that is ready. Here in Vizcaya, we try to preserve and save as much as possible and reduce as much as possible. So yes, we do recycle our pots, not the medium, the pots. After a process of cleaning the pots, we do reuse it for orchids. So yes, we do save as much as possible. The problem, the soil is not necessarily damaged, it's an old soil. So definitely what's going to happen is start rotting, and what's going to happen is going to start affecting the root system of the plant. So you want to give new medium every time you repot it. Another thing is, some people like to repot Phalaenopsis once a year. I, for one, don't like that. I like to give it every 2 to 3 years. That's when I repot the Phalaenopsis. So I give it more time for them to spread out and grow. Now let's repot this orchid. Again, here in Vizcaya, we do recycle as much as possible, so we don't waste any material. Sometimes clay pots break, so instead of throwing them away, we use it for drainage. So what you do, just put your old clay pots, if you want, in the bottom. Sometimes you got big pieces, so just break a little bit, and there you are. You want to put like at least 3/4 of the meat of the pot for drainage. Now, we're gonna use, in this case, we're gonna use the orchid medium. The reason that is because around the greenhouse, even though I can control the water, I give them a lot of water. So what do? We fill up the pot with medium. A little too much sometimes. Now we put the orchid on top. You want to put it in the middle of the pot. The reason that is so the Phalaenopsis will grow very well. Now, do you remember these guys? These are rhizome clips. The reason of existing is to hold the plants in place. So what do? With one hand, you hold the Phalaenopsis in place, and with the other, just push the rhizome clip down. Grab it, and then you press it down. Oh, sometimes the orchids, they don't want to help. So now you press it down. There you are. What we do, the rest, is fill up the material. There you are. Now the watering part of Phalaenopsis. To water Phalaenopsis, the best way, just water the side with a 6 ounce plastic cup. That's much water they need. Probably like once or twice a week, that will be the most. The best way, like I told you before, is take your finger is wet, do no water. Fingers dry, then you can water. Something you want to avoid is the water to get stuck in the eye, right here. If that happens, what's going to happen is you're going to get a crown rot or brown eye, which is the top is going to start rotting and falling apart. If that happens, don't feel bad, don't panic. Just remove the leaf, and what's going to happen is the plant is going to throw a new baby on the side. A kiki, we call a kiki or a new baby. Now, this plant is ready. What I recommend also, if you can fertilize once a week, that would be a deal. 20-20-20, that's a deal. Now the light. Phalaenopsis, they can grow in a very low light, and they'll be a happy camper. The ideal temperature for Phalaenopsis is between 45 and 80 degrees. That's the ideal temperature for Phalaenopsis, because you want to too lower, most of what's going to happen, like the Cattleyas, they're going to fall asleep, and you have to wait for the spring for them to bloom. If it's too hot, then you're going to get a bit of heat stress. But always put a fan on it so you keep air circulation and temperature lower. Now let's talk about Phalaenopsis on the tree. You can attach Phalaenopsis on logs, on trees, if you want to, and they'll do fantastic. Let's assume for 2 seconds this is a tree in your backyard, and you want to attach a Phalaenopsis here. For attaching an orchid to a tree, you can use anything that you want. As long as no wire. You can use nylon, you can use a twine, you can use tie wraps, anything that you like. Even piece of clothes, you can use that. You know, so it's not like a specific thing that you need to. As long as no wire, you'll be fine. Now, the trick for this, couple things you're gonna be needing. You want needing some kind of twig or rope so you can tie the plant. You know, you want to need scissors. You're definitely gonna need a Phalaenopsis. So we have some Phalaenopsis here. They are old and they need to be repotted. Now, here as you can see, I did not remove the sphagnum moss. The material was in there because we can reuse it to attach this. When you attach a plant on a log, you want to make sure you have some sphagnum moss for humidity. So you can leave the flowers if you want to, or you can remove it. It's up to you. You know, I for one like to leave it. Eventually, when the plant finishes blooming, you can cut it. You can take all the orchids that are, for example, on your arrangements, and they're on the way out. Instead of throwing them away, you can attach it to your tree. Now, Phalaenopsis, you want to make sure they have like at least 6 inches apart. You don't want to make it too crowded. Even though they don't mind, you don't want to make it too crowded. So 6 inches apart will do more than fine. Now, let's assume this is a piece of log in your house, on your tree. You want to make sure that this is the way you plant it. You want to put it upside down. The reason that is, when it's rainy season, the water won't get stuck in the eye and the plant start rotting. So at least you get the drainage. What's going to happen with that, you're going to have one of those droopy leaves and the flower is going to come out. It's going to look very nice and very beautiful. I have one example here that we did it like a while ago. Now, you mount it like this. Okay, first, you want to make a knot on the twig. That is up to, different way of tying things. You know, different growers, different way of tying things. So I like to make my knot something like a crescent. Put around the trunk, to the plant, and just tie it up. You want to make it as tight as possible. If you can, go around a couple rounds. And there you are ready. So what you do, you close it, and the plant is ready. You know, you can water if it's dry season, you have to water at least for the first few months, at least 2 or 3 times a month, 2 or 3 times a week for the first few months. When you see the plant get attached, don't worry about it. You know, you can water once a month or whenever. Once the plant is attached and is conditioned to the area that is growing, don't worry about it. The plant is gonna grow like it's home. Now, this is a couple ones that we did a long time ago. As you can see, we put upside down, and the leaf, they have that beautiful dark droopy leaf, and the flowers coming out. Now the flowers always gonna come out towards the light. So if you, I always recommend, like I said, always recommend putting the Phalaenopsis facing east, so because the flower is coming towards that area.